Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa and I'm joined by the magnificent...
One amongst many. Hello, I'm here as well, and today we're going to talk about the shiny new toy that everyone's so excited about. I'm excited about it, Sty's excited about it, hopefully you're excited about it too. It is the Workshop.
I think it saves the game. Now, I know this sounds a bit over the top. It's like, oh my god, Overwatch is saved. Obviously, you know, there's competitive, which we won't talk about, which has got some issues. But this Workshop came out of nowhere. Now, I said to you, didn't I, Josh? This was on Wednesday, and I'm like, holy god, I'm really struggling to, like, think of a decent video to make. I'm kind of at my wit's end. I think what was happening to me is I was playing a lot of competitive, and we know what that's like, you know, the ups and downs of it, and kind of getting a bit frustrated. And I was trying to work on a couple of guide videos. There was one for Zen. Now, this was a rotation positional guide for Zen, like how to sort of use them as like a backline artillery piece in the way. And I wasn't kind of really feeling it. It was getting really difficult to find the footage. I'm like, oh my god, I'm really struggling. And then, it's a Wednesday, so we don't expect anything really major to happen. Then we get the Workshop, like, literally out of nowhere. I remember I was looking at Twitter, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what? And I'm watching the video that Jeff made, and it's like, oh, yeah, you know, here you go. It's just a complete scripting tool for Overwatch. You can basically make new heroes if you like. You can just make new game modes. And I'm like, what? And then I remember in the video, he was going, actually, this isn't really for, you know, the average player. You need to kind of know what you're doing to use this. And I was kind of shocked, honestly, Josh. I was like, what? That doesn't really sound like a very Blizzard-y thing to do, especially for Overwatch. Give you something which is, frankly, quite complicated to use.
Yeah, that was the thing that caught me off guard as well. Like, we've talked about this in the past, and like when we made this video ages and ages and ages ago about the idea of like implementing custom games and stuff into Overwatch and something like this tool, it was like, it felt very far-fetched because with Blizzard's ethos around Overwatch and such, it's like, oh, well, we want everyone to be able to do everything with Overwatch, and we don't want anything to be complicated, and we want it all to be very user-friendly, and that's why you can't have this, and that's why you can't have that. And then suddenly this comes out, and it's like, well, it's not for normies. Like, I look at this thing and I'm like, I don't understand most of what's happening. I can kind of get a couple of things here and there, and I can kind of understand some of the logic, but most of it is like, wow, this is above what I can do with it. But that means it's really powerful. Like, I remember old school Blizzard, StarCraft and Warcraft 3 had these massive map editors with them and these huge things that you could do scripting with and do all this complicated coding with, and you got an amazing custom game scene out of it. You got Dota out of it, things, right? So much came out of this, and now they've done it for Overwatch. And sure, the Workshop doesn't have all of the features of, like, you know, the War 3 editor and anything like that, but there's so much in there, and people are doing crazy things with this. Like, you've been experimenting with it more, but I've seen people making, like, races, making a Torbjorn cannon, making just all this incredible custom stuff, putting custom things on the screen so that you can do, like, select things, or you can move in locations and have various things happen. All of this just builds on itself, right? It's been like barely a week, and people are making complicated things, and it's only going to get better and better and better as people understand the tools and then start developing things that are just going to be so mind-blowingly crazy. It's not going to feel like you're playing Overwatch anymore. It's going to feel like you're playing an entirely new game. And that's fun.
It feels fun. Yeah, this is the key word, right? Fun. Now, I think, right, and I'm just going to throw this out there, I think Overwatch for the casual Overwatch player. Now, let's just preface this with anyone watching this video, you're not a casual Overwatch player. If you're consuming Overwatch content on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, you're not a casual in the definition of an actual casual. That's somebody who, like, literally, you know, hardly plays the game kind of thing. They jump in to play with their friends, you know, maybe get annoyed at competitive. They don't touch it again until there's an event. They look at the new skins and they get out of it. This, though, this gives that kind of casual audience, and me, I'm not going to lie, it's really super fun for me. It gives you a new way to play the game, and it means you can go out there, you can have fun in a non-standard Overwatch way. It also means that things can be done that are, how can I say this, like, things which can, like, it doesn't feel like Overwatch, but it feels like Overwatch, and it feels new and it feels fresh. And I think that's a problem Overwatch has really suffered with, especially in this, like, day and age of games that get updated at some ridiculous pace. Overwatch, you know, it doesn't get updated fairly quick, but there's still, you know, are long periods of time where it's just kind of the same deal. What are we going to do today? Well, I can play competitive, or I can go into the arcade, or but now, oh no, now you can try and learn how to design your own game mode if you want, or you can go and take a look at all the new stuff people have been building. You can look at the videos I've been making making on the channel, where I've been showing off loads of this stuff, because frankly, it's insane. Like you said, Josh, there was the Torb Cannon. Okay, all right, Torb Cannon is not exactly a game mode, right? And there's a lot of stuff going on like that, but it's fun to see it. To see what's possible, to me, is really fun, and I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of that. I mean, I messed around with the Torb Cannon for about, I don't know, about 15 minutes. Will I touch it again? Probably not, because it's like, well, it's a tank mode Bastion firing a Torb. It's actually pretty funny, right? Because what you can do is, I mean, and how this has been made, it literally like blows my mind. So you turn to the tank and you select focus on a target using shift, right? So let's say you lock onto the, I don't know, the Roadhog. If you primary fire, it will fire an angry molten core Torb out of the gun, right? He rushes towards its target and it will start slamming on him, but will sort of stand there, right? Because he goes to, you know, he acts like a projectile. However, if you hold alternate fire while you're firing, it fires a homing Torbjorn. This means he locks onto the target and just chases it down, and it is the funniest thing ever. And it's like, what the hell? But what really interests me the most, I think, if I'm totally honest, are the kind of subtle changes to the game. Now, the one I'm going to bring up here, and I showed you this, Josh, didn't I, before we started this, is the Widowmaker Mine. And I guess on the selfie camera thing as well, but the Widowmaker Mine, to me, is really cool. So Darwin, who's one of the workshop guys, he's actually made the Widow Mine a remote drone camera. So if you guys have played Rainbow Six Siege, it's kind of like that. You can fire the mine and then use it as a camera. And, okay, is this really usable in the game? You know, probably not, but is it cool as hell? Oh, yes. And is it a really nice little subtle change? Oh, yes. And I absolutely love that stuff.
It's cool because it just shows the potential of what you can do.
Yeah,
the fact that you can sort of hijack the player's camera and show them other things, that opens up opportunities for, well, you can make a cutscene, surely. If you can hijack the player's camera.
Machinima. Oh my god.
Machinima. Yeah, camera angles, all that kind of stuff
Law.
available.
Go and make our own law.
We can make our own law, finally! Listen, I'm doing it so we can do it ourselves. We can record our own cutscenes, finally. There's going to be law in Overwatch and we're going to make it, everyone. But it's also like with the Torbjorn stuff as well, like having a character that's walking around on their own, doing their own thing, like a bot moving around, is cool in terms of its potential. Like, you can make tower defense maps out of like a payload map. Like, you can take Junkertown, first point, and just, you can try and build a tower defense map out of that, surely.
No, it can be done. The problem is, a player has to control the tower. So, the way this was explained to me right now is you could have Bastion tank turrets all over the place, but a player has to be in the turret manning it, because there's no way to design an AI script in the workshop at the moment. So you can't like introduce your own behavior. You can only use what they give you. Now, this was kind of like a bit of a downside to what Blizzard have given us so far. Like, you can't import your own assets, so you can't like literally build a new character. You can change the way character abilities work. You can map abilities from other heroes onto other heroes. You can use different particle effects that Blizzard give you access to. Now, I use this is actually kind of simple to use, because the first thing I did is I got Brig, and I gave her a massive, like, permanent Winston dome shield on her when she deployed her barrier. So she had, like, her actual barrier, and then, like, a 2,500 hit point dome barrier as well, because why not? And Whip Shot just instantly won the game, because, I mean, that just made sense to me. So if I can do that, and I'm a complete idiot, some things are kind of easy to do, but I couldn't change the visual effect of the dome. It's not like I could have Jeff's face in the dome, right? I don't think Blizzard are ever going to allow you to do that. One thing as well, hang on. One thing I noticed as well, which is pretty funny, there's a system in the game where you can have text pop up. So you can have it float above the head of a character, you can have it come up on the UI, and you can have, like, kind of custom things, only you can't enter your own text, right? Because I was like, right, I'm going to make a really stupid message like in the middle of the screen. Now, obviously, you can get why Blizzard haven't allowed this, because imagine some of the stuff people would do, but it's like, yeah, that's kind of a bit sad, you know. I would have liked to have wrote my special message in. You know what I mean?
Like, what I'm hoping they give you access to, though, is like stuff like, you know, the Talon grunts and the NPCs and all that kind of stuff. Man. Like, if you can have stuff like that and implement stuff like that. And I imagine, like, with the workshop, this is on PTR, this has been out for a couple of days. I imagine they can just import more and more things into this, slowly but surely develop it and make it more robust with time. we've just got the basic form of it, and people are coming up with some incredible things, incredible game modes that just refresh the game ever so slightly. And like you said, it's mostly for like when you just want some casual fun, but that's so important in a game like this. It made Team Fortress 2 so much better. It made Counter-Strike so much better. It makes so many other games so much better. Warcraft, StarCraft, the ability to go from these like very hardcore modes to more casual things and even more competitive modes. Like, have you seen the Anna paintball stuff that people are doing where they're like refining the Anna paintball game
with the
mode,
jump
making
pads
that
and everything.
better?
My
adding
God.
jump pads, adding like rules so that you can't hard scope, so you can't like stay in scope for ages. It's just going to encourage quick scoping. You can make the game modes that people use to like warm up and practice even better. You can practice Lucio rollouts and do time trials and things like that, setting speed records against your friends and things. It's so cool in terms of not only what it can do for casual fun, but also like in terms of warm-ups. If you want to do warm-ups to practice before going in competitive, you now have better ways to do things. You now have better tools to actually practice characters in a way that's safe and fun to do. And I find that so cool. It's the potential of it though that really blows me away. Like what we are going to see from a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now is just going to be so radically different. Like people are so clever at taking these systems and taking these ideas and just doing like very clever, subtle things where they can make the workshop work in ways that you wouldn't expect. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. Like when we get, Hero Quest and Overwatch, and you get like experience point systems and pickups and power-ups and things like that, suddenly you can make Quake, you can make Doom, you can make so many cool things in Overwatch. And it will still be playing Overwatch. You'll still get to play Tracer and have like the good feel of Overwatch. Like Overwatch has a very solid feel in terms of how you move and shoot, and that all works. Importing that into other game systems should be amazing, and I want to see what people can do with that.
Well, it's like you said. I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 days since this has actually gone live, and I think of some of the stuff that I've seen. Like one of them was Earth Shatter, but it does more damage based on the height that you cast Earth Shatter from. So you can like literally jump in from the top ropes as Reinhardt, and he does more damage. And like, okay, it sounds a bit silly, but it's actually really cool that things like that can be made, because there was another example of knockback. Now, this was really cool. So I forget who did this, but Roadhog's ultimate would knock Roadhog back. So Roadhog could use it to move himself around. Now, this was kind of a bit weird to begin with. It was like, what the hell? This seems a bit crazy. But then if you think about it, actually, that's pretty funky, right? So you could use it as a movement tool. It was kind of weird. They also did it to Bastion in Sentry mode, which was kind of completely stupid, because Bastion could just fire into the ground and literally fly. Like he'd come out of the spawn, fly straight like in the air to the capture point, and then you've just suddenly got a Bastion on the point. It's like, what the hell? But the really cool thing here,
It's a plane. Oh God, no! It's killing everyone.
I suppose it is a bird and a plane, because you'd have Ganymede. This is cool. Anyway, there was Lucio. His boop actually booped him, and that was actually really nice, because he's wall riding but then booping himself. And I thought, actually, that's pretty cool, right? Because there you've got a trade-off. You've got use the boot defensively or use the boot to move. That is cool. Like stuff like that you can see in all these crazy modes, little things like that coming through, which, yeah, on paper you could have maybe wrote these down and go, oh yeah, it'd be cool if Lucio could sort of boop himself with his own boop. That'd be really cool. Imagine when he's wall riding and he does it. But now it can actually be made. And this is why I like this stuff, like the selfie cam, stuff like the drone cam, stuff like that Lucio boot, which to me is really cool. I mean, there was also another one. There was a portal system. So I wouldn't even know how to even, like, what do you do? How do you build that? Anyway, someone's like, okay, this is cool. We can do it. Let's get Tracer, for example, or you can do it with any hero. Primary fire puts the first portal down. Secondary fire puts the other portal down, and they're linked, and you can just go through them. It's like, what the hell? It's like,
I could just imagine some developer looking at the code for that and going, Symmetra, the teleporter feels a bit clunky. Maybe we can have portals now for Symmetra if we just borrow this little bit of code here that's all in the game.
I'm sure they will. And I'm sure they will.
Make this work much, much better. And honestly, it would be more fun. Like, I don't like the fact that you have to put this teleporter down in a clunky way. Just putting 2 portals down would be a really cool way of doing it. And it's that kind of complicated stuff, right? Where it feels like that shouldn't be possible. Like, surely there isn't just like import portal A, place portal B, done, right? That's going to take some complicated code. But now the code's out there. Now people can use that code, take that code, and implement it into something bigger and more complicated. And these are only going to get better and better and better as time goes by. You're going to get game modes where suddenly you have, all the heroes have slightly different abilities, and maybe they have an experience system, or maybe they develop abilities, and maybe you can put points into things because people can figure out how to make points work in the game. And it's it's so mind-blowingly cool, and it feels revitalized. Like, it really does feel like
I feel re-energized, honestly. I really feel like that. There was a top-down camera. Now, the funny thing is, it was like, it might have been you I was speaking to. I was speaking to somebody about this, and they were like, oh, I can't wait to see if there's like a Dota camera or something somebody does.
Yes.
But there was one, and I'm like, holy God. So I jumped onto it, and it was really janky. It was very, like, laggy, and it was not great. But that's now been fixed. It was literally fixed a few hours after I took a look at it. So somebody grabbed it and was like, no, I can make this better, and already fixed all the problems with the camera, and now it's really smooth, and it's like, it's like, this is honestly, it's genius in a way, like, by Blizzard, because they've suddenly got access now to a ton of people who are capable of doing this stuff, and we know what it's like, right? When you look at the PTR, for example, changes go on PTR. Blizzard, Jeff, he said to me on this very channel, we don't really get much feedback from the PTR because it's the PTR. When the changes go live, then suddenly they get a load of really fast feedback. You see it with maps as well. You see it where maps have problems that are not found until they go live, and then suddenly a load of hotfixes start coming through. So in essence, it's like they've got that system now, but for new stuff. Now, I know most of this stuff is totally wacky. The Torb cannon, yeah, okay, it's totally stupid. There is no way Blizzard would ever put that into the game or anything like that, because it's crazy. But it's the ideas that come from these, and it's the fact that this massive community now can realize, not realize their dreams, that's a bit over the top, but they can realize, or they can, like, put into reality their mad ideas, and this just makes the game so much fun. It means, right, there'll be a lot more varied Overwatch content out there. Now, for me, as somebody who makes a lot of Overwatch videos, this is good, because there's literally hundreds of channels that go, right, guys, it's patch notes time, and it's like, okay, this is great, and it's fine. But it's not actually that interesting, is it? Yeah, people want to know about changes, they want to know about that. But actually now, there's all this new stuff, which we've just suddenly got this, like, honestly, I feel like I'm playing a different game. And, you touched on this at the start of this video. We spoke about mods a very long time ago. I actually made a video. This was just before the custom game system came out. And I think in that video, I am like, wow, if we had a map editor, if we had like a complete way to edit the game, like we literally got the mod tools. I think my in my head, what I was seeing is like, the actual systems that Blizzard use to build this stuff, which, okay, they're never really going to give you that. But they've done it in the past, right? Like you said, they did it with Warcraft 3. They did it with, they did it to some extent with StarCraft 2. I don't think StarCraft 2 was as good as Warcraft 3. I don't think. Well, I'm probably going to get battered in the comments. It was still pretty good. Yeah, I remember like Nexus Wars and all of the crazy mods. Because it was like, they're like tower defense mods, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately we're going to see that in the future, right? We're going to see a map editor. I mean, Paris is terrible, bloke. Like, listen. And Rialto's okay. I don't want to say Rialto's bad. The bridge bit on Rialto I'm not a fan of, but I'm not really a fan of the first point unless I'm defending. Well, anyway, moving on. Blizzard make extremely good art assets and environments, but it looks to me like they have a little bit of a problem sometimes when it comes to like the flow of a map, especially Paris, and it's like, So it would be nice if we could go, hey Blizz, let us edit the map for you, and then maybe Blizzard might implement some of those things. Because what I'm waiting for is the very first time Blizzard are like, we've seen this in the workshop, so we're going to stick it into the game. Or this person is doing insane work in the workshop, they now work for Blizzard.
And it's a great way for people to get started with stuff like this. Like, Jeff mentioned it in his video as well, where it's like, maybe you are interested in game design, maybe you are interested in coding and logic and stuff like that. You can learn that from doing this kind of thing. You can actually develop that skill set, because it reads like code. It reads like the logic of code. And when you start understanding how it works, it actually feels pretty intuitive of just like, oh, well, it's a condition, so you have a trigger, you have a condition, you have an action. And when you understand that sort of logical flow, it all starts to fit together. So the game developers of tomorrow, like, get started on stuff like this and play around with stuff like this. And if you do want to sort of, I suppose, get noticed, making mods and making things in stuff like the Overwatch Workshop is a fantastic way to do it. It's a superb way to sort of show off a little bit of what you can do and start getting interested in stuff like this. And what really impresses me as well that we haven't touched on is that this is available on console as well.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to get to that, Josh. I was going to get to that. Yeah, so actually, I've got a good story about this. So one of the developers on the forums, like I forget the names of the two guys who actually led the drive on this workshop system, but they got asked on the forums, why can't we just enter our own variables and our own code, because having to select from drop down menus is quite annoying. And the response was really good. It said, okay, firstly, this is for console, so you don't have a keyboard, so how the hell would you enter the code? Like, drop down menu works. But then they went on to say that actually they use this system now because it's faster than entering all the code manually. When you get used to the drop-down menus and whatnot, you can actually concept stuff much quicker than you could before. So that's super cool to me, that is. Also, as well, there's probably a security risk with just allowing people to add whatever the hell code they wanted into the game. Might be a bit weird. But yeah, it was a cool answer. I think, like, this system is... Like, one thing that it kills me with Blizzard, that they don't tell us that they're working on this stuff. Like, I know, okay, they don't want to straight up say we're working on this in case it doesn't work and then they can't release it. But things like this, I think are fundamental to games like Overwatch, because it's now in, like, what, its third year, and you need new and exciting ways to play the game. And what better way of generating those than allowing the community to actually make what they want? I mean, hell, I was playing Diva spaceships. What? Diva in space above Horizon, flying around, firing missiles at other Diva spaceships. I mean, what the hell? Like, it's stupid, but it's fun, and I remember it, right? And then I tell my friends, and I'm like, hey guys, check this out. That is the cool thing, and that's the thing Overwatch has been missing. Because honestly, I think Overwatch is a goddamn salt mine in competitive, especially. And a lot of the time, what causes you to stop playing, Josh? Be real with me.
Overwatch. It's frustration.
Yeah, Overwatch stops you from playing it, right? Yeah. And it's annoying, but now you can go and play Diva Spaceships and everything can be fine and happy in the world.
And it doesn't have to be the greatest game in the world, but if it entertains me for 20 minutes and makes me go, hey, you want to go and try this out? This looks really cool. And then you go, yeah, and then you try it out, and it is kind of fun, but then you go, oh, well, now I'm bored of it. But then you go and play something else, and that's really cool. And then you go play something else, and that's really cool. And you do it all within Overwatch. And yeah, like you said, 3 years.
I think it's going to be huge. Josh, I think this is going to be huge, right? Because on the PTR, it literally takes a minute to fill up a server. If you start a new game mode, like I started the Super Smash Bros. Game mode, it filled up literally within a minute, and that's on PTR. That is unheard of. You go to PTR, there's a massive list of games. On live, this is just going to be crazy. There's going to be so much stuff, and I just can't wait. Anyway,
you know what this
sorry
means,
for interrupting you.
Havana's going to be terrible. Havana's going to be terrible because no one's testing it. No one's testing Havana, guys. No one's playing Havana. Everyone's doing the workshop. No one cares about Havana. We're going to go to another Paris.
No one cares about Storm Rising. Well, they don't, right? You look at Storm Rising, it's like, what the hell is this? But now it's like, anyway, Blizzard are just like, here you go, do whatever you like, and it's, oh, cool. And now suddenly we can just do whatever we like. It's so cool. Anyway,
Let us
guys,
make our own Storm Rising, please.
Well, yeah, like you said, we'll probably get the assets for the dropships from XCOM and all of that stuff. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what your best or your favourite modes are so far. If you've got the code, stick it in the video description below. If you find anything ridiculous, then go to the Unit Lost Discord server. It's discord.gg/Unit Lost. There is a couple of rooms there for the workshop. Chuck the code in there. You could tweet it to me as well on @Stylosa, and if I see it, then I might look at it, especially if it's good. Any final words, Josh?
Not really. You can find me twitch.tv/oneamongstmanytv. No more ESL, thank God. Hey! Yeah, otherwise, drop by. It'd be fun.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, yeah, that is it. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.
Bye!